Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the In the Meantime podcast, a 33-in-1 production. And today we are going to get into everything legal and law field. So today I'm going to be demystifying the topic of getting into law school and what it takes to get into law school. And I want to start by saying that I am doing this particular episode so that I can inform others, because my hopes is that others will not be fearful of taking the next steps to something that they believe is for them, because I do believe that as long as we are still here, we're able to do that thing that we are really wanting to do, that brings us joy, that puts a smile on our face, and ultimately is something that feeds our soul and that we love to do. So that is what I found with finding the legal field in itself. And I'm hoping that I can do that and help others do the same, even if it's not specific to legal and law field, but just taking the next steps to that one thing that you feel like is your calling. So I'm going to go ahead and start speaking on demystifying how to get into law school. So the first thing that you're going to need to get into law school is your bachelor's degree. Now, your bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree, and this degree can be in almost any subject that you want it to be in. It does not have to be specific to pre-law or the law field or criminal justice, although that may be what others may believe or were taught to believe, that in order to get into law school, you have to be in like pre-law and you have to get a degree that law and legal field, but that is not actually true. I actually got into law school with a bachelor's degree in health science with a dual focus on human performance, and I did really well with that bachelor's degree. So when choosing a 4-year degree to obtain, make sure that it's one that is of interest to you, I should say, because little do many of us know, because I wasn't aware of until I actually got into law school, that there are way more fields of law than we are aware of. Because a lot of us know, like, you get in trouble, you need an attorney, and that's what we know. That's as far as our knowledge goes when it comes to the legal and law field. That's what attorneys are for. However, there are a ton of different avenues of the legal and law field and being an attorney. You can become a transactional attorney, and those are attorneys that don't deal with trial, don't deal with criminals or prosecution or anything along those lines. They just deal with making sure a contract gets pushed through. There's wills and estate, there's environmental, and environmental is exactly what it sounds like. If you have an interest in helping the community and making sure that we have access to clean water and that the animals have what they're needing in order to continue to rebuild their organizations and things, environmental attorney might be the one for you. You just never know. So any 4-year degree, as long as you get a high GPA, is going to be acceptable for a law school. So make sure that you're getting a 4-year degree that is of interest to you so that you can get A's and B's, so that you can get the highest GPA. And then that'll just be one thing marked off your bucket list that you don't have to be worried or concerned about when it comes time to applying to law school. Your next step is going to be, or this could be while you're obtaining your bachelor's degree, but another step you're going to want to do is to take the LSAT. When taking the LSAT, there are different avenues that you could take. In order to apply for the LSAT or to take the LSAT, you have to go to lsac.org. That's lsac.org. And on that website, you'll see all the testing deadlines, application deadlines for the test, and things along those lines. But another thing that you'll see is a resource that you could use if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of income to spare or additional income to put towards this journey. There are opportunities, resources, and tools through the LSAC.org organization website that could assist you in obtaining a possible waiver so that you can take the LSAT without having to pay out of your own pocket. What happened? I'm recording my video. Yeah, you can take those. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye. Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and restart just because I did have my niece come in. So I just want to make sure I don't miss anything here. So with the LSAT, if you go to lsac.org, they do have access to resources and the ability to obtain a waiver so that you're able to take the LSAT without having to pay out of pocket. If it's something that's unaffordable to you, you do have to apply for that waiver and prove that you are someone of low income. But if you're being honest about it and you just show them, I just really don't have this money to spare, but I'm really wanting to take this avenue because I know that it's going to change the trajectory of my life, and then I'll be able to start affording things. They're really open to helping people of all walks of life try to take this path and this journey. So don't feel deterred. If you feel like you can't afford it, definitely go to lsac.org and apply for the waiver. There are 2 tiers that you could be accepted for, tier 1 and tier 2. Each tier provides a different level of access as far as how many times you're able to take the LSAT on a waiver, the CAS score that you're going to have to report to your law schools when you take the LSAT, and additional resources to help in preparation of taking the LSAT. They do provide you the ability to take quizzes and tests and full tests, broken up tests, specializing on particular question areas as well. So it's a really good website to use if you're really interested in taking this journey of going to law school. So go ahead and check out lsac.org because it's going to be really helpful to you. Bye.
Bye.
Make sure you get ready because we're going to go to the park in like 10 minutes. All right. Bye. Okay. So my niece came in again, and I was going to continue the recording with her, but I don't have permission from my brother and her mom yet. So I'm not going to actually keep that portion of the video. I'm going to have to cut that out, but I did lose where I was. So I know that I said that lsac.org is going to be super helpful to you. Outside of lsac.org, the first step, as I stated, was your bachelor's. You're going to obtain your bachelor's degree. Then you're going to go ahead and take that LSAT. While you're obtaining your bachelor's degree, or while you're taking different avenues of employers and work, you're also going to be building your resume. While you're building your resume, you want to think about personal recommendations from that resume. So your managers, your supervisors, while you're obtaining your bachelor's degree, your professors, I advise that you really connect with at least 2 or 3 individuals throughout this journey, so that when it comes time to applying for law school, it's much easier to go back and talk to a professor or supervisor or a manager. Even a professor, maybe you didn't do that well in their class, but you were the student that asked a lot of questions. You stayed after class so you could ask follow-up questions, and you were really communicative with the professor. Even that professor would be a perfect reference for you, because they're going to talk about how, although it might not have been your favorite subject, how you didn't run away from the subject, how you tried your hardest, you took all the resources available to you, and you really made the best of it. And then you ended with whatever, hopefully a B. It just didn't come easy to you. So that's a perfect personal recommendation and reference letter. So even those particular professors, keep them in mind along this journey, so that when you do have to go ahead and apply for law school, you have those professors that you can communicate back to and ask if they would be willing to do this personal recommendation for you. I did not have any issues when I did ask my managers, supervisors, as well as professors. I had 4 recommendation letters, but I believe majority of the schools require 2. But definitely you're going to want to make sure by going to the specific website of the law school you're wanting to get into to determine exactly how many of those you're going to need. And that will kind of give you an idea of how many connections to build, where to build them, and who to go back to when it's time for you to start applying to law school. Okay. Lastly, your resume. Your resume is going to be super important for law school because they're going to want to see stability for one. How long have you been at these places? What type of work do you do? What type of interest do you have in your work fields? A lot of them are going to see, are these community service based? Are these advocating based? And then if that's not something that's specifically in your field, I just also want to state that maybe joining an organization. I have been a board member of an organization for the last 3 years. Even prior to getting into law school, I joined an organization that primarily focuses on students K through 12 and helping them gain access and resources to tools to help them get better in their testing for math and reading, specifically in the Florida State standardized testing. So that's the organization I became a part of and I became a board member of. And I'm still on today. It's a very remote role. You can find an organization that you can work on remotely and not be specifically hands-on, but as a board member, you're still making a difference because you are assisting and aiding in things like getting grants, acquiring supplies, resources, sponsorships, things along those lines. So joining an organization that you can put onto your resume because your resume will be included in your application for law school. Okay. So just to recap, you're going to need your bachelor's degree. You're going to want an LSAT score. Again, you're going to want to go specifically onto the school's website that you're wanting to get into. It will show you the median of what they normally accept or the lowest that they'll accept, their GPA and all of those things. In combination, those things will make a strong application for law school. I got accepted into the FAMU College of Law. It is a law school that is located in downtown Orlando in Florida. And I know that there are a lot of ideas around going to any one specific law school because people think of an attorney and they think, oh, I have to go to the most prestige law school. And if you don't go to a top tier law school, then you can't become an attorney. But I want to demystify that in saying that that's not true. The best way that I can tell you that going to the most prestige law school is a lot of people's dreams and hopes. If you are anyone like me who came into this field late, who didn't have the foundation around the law field and what was required or expected of you ahead of time, I didn't take the avenue of finding out how to get into the most prestige law school because you have to take the same bar test that individual has to take. It's just that simple. That's the easiest way for me to put it and the easiest way for me to say that do not allow a top tier law school that you couldn't get into or didn't get into. Not saying you can't get into it, because if you take the necessary steps and if you do the steps ahead of time and build that foundation, I'm sure that you can get into a top tier law school.
Hey, these are same on my house. These are same on my house for.
Yeah, you can play with it. Want me to open it?
Yeah, I got Jesse and a Hippo.
Oh, there's two. You got Atlas and Jesse.
This is Atlas?
Mm-hmm. Atlas the hippo.
Yeah, and this is Jesse.
All right, Diti's almost done, okay? So I wasn't an individual who, once I figured out I wanted to go to law school, started to dig in how do I get into the most prestige law school, the highest top tier law school. I just knew I wanted to become an attorney. And because I wanted to become an attorney, I didn't so much care about which law school I got into. I just cared about getting into law school. And I also feel like, I don't want to say feel, because as I originally said, when we put feelings, it's not facts. I also know that no matter what law school you go to, for example, there are a ton of law schools in Florida. I don't believe any one law school is better than the other, because I do believe that the professors at the law school are the ones that make the biggest difference. I am more so someone that believes it's not just the school's name. The particular law school that I got into, the professors really do care about their students, and they're very helpful and informative. And I learned and was taught a lot by these professors, and I would not have changed that experience for the world just to go to a higher known or a more known law school. I hope that my audience understands is no matter what law school you get into within your state, you guys all have to sit for the same bar test. So it's not about the school itself, it's about what you do on that bar test and passing that bar test. And when you pass that bar test, that is going to be the thing that shows you're capable. That is going to be the foundation that shows you're able to do this, not because of the school that you went to, but because of the information that you made sure to take along that journey, so much so that you were able to pass the bar and now you're able to practice. So when you're thinking about getting into law school, I really truly hope that you don't stop just because you may not be able to get into the highest prestige school. But also, I want you to know that you could get into the highest prestige school if you so wanted to. You just have to take the steps and make sure that you build the right foundation to obtain that, just as anyone that's wanting to obtain anything. I also want to demystify age around law school, because it seems like a lot of the student body that I was surrounded by would tell me that they almost didn't come to law school because of their age. Now, I'm 33. The student body that I got accepted into was from an age range of 19, I believe she was 19, 20, and then the oldest individual being in their 60s. Do you see that age gap? 19 to 20, all the way to their 60s. So if someone in their 60s can do it, someone in their 70s can do it. I'm someone who believes that if you are still here, you are still able to do the thing that you're wanting to do. And if that thing is going to law school, then go to law school, because you can do it. And if that thing is going to law school, then go to law school, because you can do it. It's difficult. Everything always is when you're first starting, but it becomes easier as you practice. Practice does make progress, and as long as you don't give up, as long as you continue to do the work, you will get there. If law school is something you want to do, you don't give up on it, write it down. If you have a piece of paper by you, if you have a notebook, write it down. Law school, write it somewhere so that it becomes real to you. In order for me to study for the LSAT, I did not just use the online tools or resources. I know that there's like LSAT Max, there's LSAT Demon, there's a ton of online resources. It wasn't until I used the Princeton Review LSAT Premium Guide, which can get expensive, but I located one in a library, in my local library, which means it was free to rent, which you can scan these pages, guys. You can go pick it up, find your local library, scan the pages, and begin to study. But it was that textbook that really broke it down for me, and it really helped me understand how to complete the LSAT and how to get a good score on the LSAT. However, when I took the LSAT, there was logic reasoning, reading comprehension, and logic games. And logic games stemmed around it was like a math concept, but now the LSAT is 2 logic reasonings and 1 reading comprehension section. So make sure you're using the resources that are going to help you for the current test, not the previous test, and that you're staying up to date in those changes, because just like everything changes every day, it does change in the law field, and you're going to want to stay up to date prepping for the correct test because you don't want to study for the wrong one. So bachelor's, LSAT, personal recommendations, resume. Don't let your age stop you. Don't let the school that you might get into stop you. As long as you can get into a law school, you can do it. And you can get into law school as long as you study for the LSAT and get the bachelor's and get your personal recommendations. Just get all of those things together slowly but surely. It takes time. It is a process, but I believe in you. I was able to do it, so I know others can do it. And that's why I'm doing this video. I hope you guys join me with another episode of In the Meantime podcast, a 33-in-1 production. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you are going to comment, comment with love. And I really, truly hope that we can continue to build this community and helping others do that thing that they know they're called to do. I'm Bianca B. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with me and listen to me on the In the Meantime podcast. Our next episode will revolve around everything faith and how faith assisted me in getting to where I am today. So I really hope that you guys will tune into that. Stay tuned and bye.